Welcome to All Caps, folks. We must start with Game 2 between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors, which was a showcase for one Ja Morant, who closed the game like a fucking assassin. I mean, some of these baskets down the stretch, particularly the threes, there were a couple of just straight on, big boy, I'm going to take this three, and not only am I going to take it, I'm going to hit it, and we need it. P.S. I'm not a good three-point shooter. Ja gave everybody the full Ja Morant display in this game. It was so thrilling, so tell your kids about this kind of game. When I was a kid, they had those NBA superstar videotapes, great guards of the NBA. This is a game where most of the third and fourth quarter scores for Ja Morant would be on a clip package like that. He was just incredible. And the Memphis Grizzlies eked out a really tough win. It feels like every game in this series is going to be really, really close, but the game is not without its controversies. Let's start with this. There's a lot of people that actually don't like Ja Morant. Let's look at it. This is from Dr. Guru, whose avatar is a picture of Jordan Poole, so you know you're getting the most absolutely unbiased shit right here regarding this particular clip. But here it is. Here's Ja. I mean, his hand's under the ball. He is carrying. He does carry a lot. All of which is to say this. Being able to hypnotize the refs so that they are just audience members, they are so enthralled by what you're doing that they forget that they can actually blow the whistle and they're just watching you, that's a talent. Now, should Steve Kerr come out and say, well, and another thing, Ja Morant carries the ball all the time, to get the refs to maybe call it? Yeah, of course he should probably do that if they want that called. But guess what? Guys travel all the time in the NBA, and Ja is one of the best to ever do it.
I think one of the main beefs with Ja is they consider him a grifter, but he makes it look way cooler than everybody else. He doesn't grift the way Doncic or Harden does. He makes it cool grifting. It's the
he makes it. I mean, he does it in a way in your mind when you were a kid in your driveway or at the park and you're lowering the fucking basket to 7 feet or whatever because you're 8 years old, or you're like me, 15 years old, and you just never hit the spurt, and you're imagining what you look like. It's this. Ja got poked in the eye in this game. He went to the bench a couple times to get some sort of drops put in his eye, and here he is after the game talking about it.
Okay, as you were seeing those last 15 points?
Honestly, no. But
would you aim in the middle, or would you do? How'd you?
I got another good eye over here. 20/20 vision right here. So
and then
thank God for my right eye.
What exactly did you say to Steph?
I love Ja. He's lying here, and it's fantastic. His eye's not even red.
No. That's not how it works. There's a thing called depth perception. You can see out of both your eyes. And like I said, he foul baits cool, and he lies cool too. I'll take a cool lie any day. He's just a cool liar. I'll take it.
He reminds me of, remember when Paul Pierce came out with the bandage full around his head? That's what Ja should have done. Ja should have came out pirate style with a full band-aid over his left eye and been man, that was tough. Last 15 points. Honestly, I was going off the crowd. If they cheered, then I knew it went in. Now, we mentioned the controversy. This game is not without its sad moments. Here is play from early in the first quarter. Memphis up by 8. Gary Payton II drove to the hole, and Dillon Brooks, who may or may not be a mole for the Warriors. The way he's been playing this series, did Joe Lacob slip some money in his Cash App? As far as I'm concerned, Steve Kerr should ask that Dillon Brooks actually be forced to play and take 12 shots. That's how he's been playing in this series.
His suspension be 48 minutes.
Yeah, you got to play all 48. You never leave the floor, and you got to shoot 4 times a quarter. So Dillon Brooks comes in, I don't know if you'd call it wind-up, but he basically clubs Gary Payton in the head. Payton tries to break his own fall, catches his elbow, and we're learning now that he has a broken elbow. It sucks because, one, Gary Payton II has had a real breakthrough year after a kind of journeyman career on the fringes of professional basketball. Has found theoretically a home with the Warriors, or so it seems. He's a free agent this summer, so this is a play that can legitimately cost him money. And so, in that sense, it was sad. And Steve Kerr pulled no punches when talking about it.
I don't know if it was intentional, but it was dirty. And Playoff basketball it's supposed to be physical. Everybody's going to compete and everybody's going to fight for everything. But there's a code in this league. There's a code that players follow where you never put a guy's season/career in jeopardy by taking somebody out in midair and clubbing them across the head.
Now, many, in particular Memphis Grizzlies fans, are going to say this is pretty rich coming from a guy who coaches Draymond Green, who has kicked lots of people in the nuts and done lots of things, and one game ago fouled a guy in his face and then dragged him down. Let's just say this. If you're looking for like a reasonable, detached, rational take on a play in which a basketball player or any athlete was injured in a playoff game, you're not going to get it from the coach of that player's team. That's never going to happen for any coach ever. Greg Popovich coached Bruce Bowen for years. That guy was out there like legitimately kicking people like in the teeth and trying to paralyze dudes. And at no point in time did Greg Popovich ever say, when talking about any kind of foul or something or complaining about a foul that happened to his team, at no point did he ever say or will he ever say, and you know what? I just want to also acknowledge that we employ Bruce Bowen, who is a dirty guy. It's not going to happen. Here is the TNT squad on whether Dillon Brooks broke the code or not.
He don't have a reputation as a dirty out there trying to hurt somebody.
Got a reputation as an aggressive, good defender.
I would say that he broke the code this way. His inexperience broke the code. Because you could tell in his mind, not in his mind, I could tell in his actions that I'm going to foul this guy hard and no layup rule. But there's an experienced way to do it.
Steve Kerr floated a thing, and a lot of people have said this, where it's like, I think the fair thing would be if a guy gets injured, the person who was responsible should be suspended until that player is healthy. Come on. That's
sure. How long would Jokic have been out this year?
Yeah, there's a million, that feels good to say, but there's a million ways that doesn't make any sense. Now, we should say, the play that knocked out Gary Payton and then the elbow to Draymond was bang, bang. I mean, it was a minute and a half, 2 minutes later. It felt like a lot happening at once. But here's Draymond and giving two middle fingers to the crowd. Here is Draymond in the postgame talking about why, I guess people needed to understand why someone would give the middle finger to people. But I thought I could figure it out, but let's get Draymond's take on why he gave the middle finger to the crowd.
If you're gonna boot somebody who get elbowed in the eye and face running on blood, you should get flipped off. So I'll take the fine, I'll go do an appearance and make up the money.
Okay, first of all, similar to my take on Steve Kerr, if you're looking for a reasonable take on how fans should act at a playoff game, don't ask the guy who is on the other team. Draymond, what did you want them to do? Be like, oh, we appreciate you, Draymond. You know, that guy, I don't love that he's playing against my team, but you have to respect how hard. No, they're going to boo you. You're fucking Draymond Green. You're on the road in a tightly contested playoff game. You're going to fucking get booed. What did you think they were going to throw flowers down and be like, we want to beat them we want Draymond out there. I hope that, no, they're going to be like, fuck, I hope we don't see Draymond for the rest of that's just how fans are. They're going to boo.
Especially in Memphis, they literally play whoop that trick after games.
And you're like, fuck you, how dare you boo me? Get out of here. Here's the thing that you read or listen to or any other kind of coverage about the Philadelphia 76ers right now. Here is Ramona Shelburne from ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Harden, 32, has noticeably had trouble getting past defenders during his time in Philadelphia and has prompted questions around the league. Has he lost a step? Is his injured hamstring still a problem? Can he get his burst back in time to justify a max contract extension worth $223 million this summer? Let's take those in order. Has he lost a step? Yes. We can stop asking the question. He's got a long and well-documented history of living really hard. Doing stuff that probably is not conducive to a long and fruitful athletic career at the highest levels. And he's been out of shape, notably, numerous times throughout his career. He notably, just mailed it in and kind of got fat a couple times to get out of his contract with teams. And now we're asking if he's lost a step after being faced with copious evidence of James Harden not being able to get by a defender. Yes, he's lost a step. This is what happens at this age when you just are out and you're probably not in the tip-top physical shape.
Yeah, he's spending $1 million on his body a different way than LeBron is. Like,
I can't believe coasting on his raw athleticism and showing up out of shape every year has finally caught up to him in his 30s of all time.
Right. And, like, there's other stuff, like some of the moves, some of James Harden's, strategies for getting fouled are things that the league has targeted, to kind of take away from players, these kind of more flailing gestures and rip-throughs and what have you. And so, like, surely that has played a role, and he complained about that, particularly earlier in the season where it's like the whistles weren't there. But we can stop asking this question. James has lost a step. That happened. For a lot of you out there who are parents, particularly new parents, you're wondering, how can I scratch this hoop itch? How can I stay in the mix with my finger on the pulse of what's happening in the National Basketball Association postseason 2022 and still be a caring, loving, affectionate parent to my child? Here to help us with all of that are freshly minted parents, CJ Toledano and Megan Gailey. First of all, thank you for joining All Caps. Do I need to be quiet?
No, you can be loud. And I didn't know this about being successful at it. I don't know if we can say that.
You're giving me like Good Morning America vibes right now.
Now, as new parents, any plans to indoctrinate the child into a fandom, or are you just going to let that happen organically?
He has probably 12 jerseys already.
Across all teams.
Across all teams. And
this is his little jaw.
Here's his jaw. He's got an Ant onesie. He's got a Giannis jersey.
Wow.
Obviously a Reggie Miller. I want him to be a Pacers fan, but I also can't wish that on someone new to the world. CJ wants him to be a Lakers fan. I think we're gonna, with the NBA, let him pick a player, and we're definitely guiding him towards Ant and Ja.
I'm also gonna warn him that no one likes the answer that you root for players. That is the biggest cop-out, and Conrad, you're stronger than that. You're stronger than your dad.
Now, what about this? Let me pitch you on something. Pacers,
yeah,
Lakers. What about a fan of yellow teams? Whatever you want to call it. You want to call it gold, you want to call it yellow, you want to call it sunflower, you want to maize.
Yeah.
Whatever that color is. What about if you say, Conrad, you can be a fan of any team that has yellow in the scheme?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's got an Eastern Conference team and a Western Conference team, which I am a subscriber of. Obviously, neither of our teams are in the playoffs, so we're rooting for 75 different teams right now.
And if like that G League team does the SpongeBob night and I show him that, he's for sure going to like that team the most.
Now, how do you have him with you as you were watching the games, or just how does that work?
So I have a bunch of friends that had babies during March Madness over the last few years, and they're like, oh my God, this worked out so great for my husband. And I'm like, yes, but March Madness is like shorter. Like the NBA playoffs is so long. We're going to go from newborn to like fully sitting up. He's going to have major life advancements with how long these playoffs take.
He's going to be pacing in front of the screen by free agency. I think like, yeah, it's on. It has been great for basketball watching, but also the first night that he came home, we were changing him on the bed, and his head like drifted to the screen, and also too. I mean, any doctor will tell you, do not let your child, your baby, watch screens. But he was watching the Grizzlies Timberwolves game when we came home.
Yeah, because he said, these are my two favorite players. This is who I keep thinking about, and I gotta see what the commotion is.
Finally, any other small tips that you've come to realize over this time that you can share with our new parents out there?
Try and have as much money as possible.
Yeah.
Because
in all things, that is very, very helpful.
Yeah, I would say money is helpful. Wanting the baby. Definitely trying to move to a state that believes women are active members of society.
I can give some husband tips. I don't know how a husband who witnesses childbirth can say no to their wife after. Like, I'm wearing a Pacers hoodie. I'm a well-documented LeBron and Lakers fan. I'm wearing a Pacers hoodie now because what I witnessed I just have to root for my wife in all aspects. I just think husbands just say yes to your wife. Because that shit is crazy.
Yeah.
CJ and Megan, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. And bye, baby Conrad.
Say bye.
Are you a fan of all caps? If you are, you should know this by now. But just in case you haven't been paying attention to this, I want to tell you about Underdog Fantasy's Pick'em game. It's the easiest and most fun way to spice up your NBA season that doesn't include candle wax dripping on your bare skin. Just pick over under on your favorite or least favorite player stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. What other kind of deal allows you to 20x your cash in a single night that won't land you in prison? We have Suns Mavs today. Will Luka score at least 30? That's actually a really good bet. He hasn't been below 30 in this series. Will Devin Booker mean mug Jalen Brunson? If you can get odds on that, I'd take it. Underdog keeps it incredibly simple with their easy-to-use website and mobile app. Pick between 2 and 5 players. You can take home some cold hard cash. Use code all caps and get your first deposit double by Underdog. Sign up and play today. Woof woof. Game 2, Suns Mavericks. The Suns are too good. The Mavericks don't have enough. Luka's great. Jalen Brunson, it turns out if he can't just like drive by Donovan Mitchell on every play, he looks maybe not that great. Anyway, the Suns hunted Luka like on every play. Luka's defensive numbers look fake. They don't look real. To be fair to him, he's carrying the whole squad. Like, he's doing it or no one's doing anything. But they were hunting him. Let's go to Book and CP3 talking about what they did to target Luka in the second half of the game.
Chris, when you're playing a guy like Luka Doncic, and how important is it to make him work defensively as far as running him through a lot of actions, especially late in the game when he's log heavy minutes like that?
That was a very clear, like, we're not giving them any bulletin board material at all. We're not going to say shit about the shit we're doing. Remember that, because they're going to ask, how are you flaying Luka like this? And we're not going to say anything. Listen, Mavs fans right now are going at it internally amongst themselves. There's one side of the debate that's like, how dare you criticize Luka for anything? He's everything and everything to this team, and he's doing everything he can. And then there's another side that says, you can't show up to camp and preseason, like, clearly working your way into shape just through games, because there's a price to pay at a certain point. See James Harden. And so that's an internal conversation that's going on, but clearly the Suns feel like they can target Luka, and it's very successful. Here's the thing that happened in Celtics Bucks. Got a little spotlight with one of the stars of the NBA, Scott Foster.
Who's Jack Harlow? Who's Jack Harlow?
I have no idea.
There's a guy over here, right here. He's in that white shirt behind you.
Yeah, who is he?
I don't know. Go ask him.
Okay. NBA and their broadcast partners, ESPN. Is it a good idea to like spotlight perhaps the most controversial ref in your sport right now and like elevate him to the level of like, I'm hearing him speak on the broadcast? Like, I just don't think that that's a good idea. I think we can live without hearing Scott Foster's thoughts about music and current rappers in our pop culture today. We don't need this. Why is this happening?
Hometown when them wheels hit and I touch down, they she down low 3-point stands. I'm back there doing jack dance like